Expressions podcast. We are National Youth Development Trust, enhancing young people's voices in democratic spaces. We are in an election year. This is 2023. We are about 36 days to the election. And I have young people with me that are actually representatives or opinion leaders in their right from different political spaces and different areas. To my right, to my extreme right, we have Stanley Moyo. Welcome, Stanley Moyo.
Thank you, Jackie, for having me.
To my other right, there is Linda Moyo. Into yangini.
Yes, Linjani. How are you?
Okay, to my left, there is Tyson Ngube. Welcome, Tyson.
Thank you, Jackie. For correction, it's Tyson Mapikwa. Mapikwa.
Hayi kodwa kusalayo phela bonke laba zindwangu zemaqhele ukuthi ngiyako Mabhikwa kumbe yini ngikufuna nje ukuzitema, but anyway this is Tyson Mabhikwa kodwa mina ngiyakwazi ukuthi ngokoncono. All right, welcome into the space.
Thank you.
I want us to be as free as possible because we are also reaching out to other young people out there that want to actually vote and actually participate in democratic spaces. Before I go any further, I'm actually concerned about the number of young people that I've seen becoming leaders in political spaces vis-a-vis the number of young people that are in actual statistics, the actual census that was done last year. Tyson, what can be the pointers? What can be the challenges within the young people's constituency?
Okay, statistical, I think it is said that young people constitute for about 67.5% within the population of Zimbabwe. But we are seeing that many of them are not involved within the electoral processes due to several reasons, that which we know. And we are seeing that they distance themselves mostly in participating, low registry, or even participating even within the political players because they feel, or in actual sense, we feel we are not worthy, or we are not fit, or we are not rendered fit to be involved within the electoral process in taking part within the leadership positions, rather than to be used or manipulated with those who are within the leadership because they have resources.
Okay, then speaking on resources, Tyson, the one that you touched, that's one of the greatest inhibitors of young people taking up leadership positions. I've got a young person from Pumula, Stanley, looking at how economics and resources play in actually being voted for to be a leader. What is your take on that?
In terms of the resources, when it comes to young people, ukuthi baphatheke babe ngo-councillor kumbe babe ngo-MP babe in decision-making spaces, it affects us, especially looking at the challenges that the country is facing economically. We have got youth unemployment that is on the rise. And you discover that there are many other challenges that young people are facing. As we grow, we need a lot of things. And sometimes to budget your money or to find that money to invest into an electoral process actually becomes of a challenge. And that's why you see us not getting into those spaces and actually having what you call youth apathy. Sometimes it's not even about the resources, it's about the apathy. Because sometimes we use the resources, but you find out that we are not voted for. The elders in political spaces, they don't give us the chance to get into that post, as my brother just said recently. So, Jackie, I think the issue of resources is quite of a challenge, especially to the youth sector.
Imagine generally nabantu abatsha likhala ngama-resources or the economic muscle. Pho omama ke, this I'll pose to Linda. Omama njengoba bele inhlupheko ezingaka liyanelisa yini? And also looking, I want to tie this to the issue of nomination fees, Linda. Nxa ima nomination fees ka MP abe 1,000, eka councillor 100. omama kubaphatha njani khonokho abangabantu abatsha?
I think it-turn out ukuthi be low my youth is just because umama kwesinye isikhathi nxa until we are from indawo ezihlukahlukeneyo umama uyabe breadwinner and ufuna uba ngu-MP and you look at the registration money, it's even inkulu kakhulu kulezidingo zakhe yena personally. And then you find it ukuthi at the end of the day umuntu uyakhangela igap lathi thina abantu sihlezi ukuthi yothi lapha yilose ngoba you won't get anyone voting for you. People will say if you go register you won't make it ngesizathu esithile. Uyabo,
so isizathu sakhona ukuthi kanti why umama
ngoba the youth of today they are being bought in different ways. So you cannot expect a mother from home buying for youth, you know, injengu, buying for drugs, umuntu omutsha. You know, a mother is somebody who will take care of you. So a community leader cannot buy drugs for a certain person to vote for her. To you know, so if you are a inspiring leader, you should ube motivation of some sort ukuthi abantu bekuvotele. But in today's election, you find people wanting things so that they get into in the voting seat. So as a mother, as a young lady, I think that's where the challenge is, because we cannot afford those kind of things to happen in the community.
All right. Also looking now at the issues that you have raised, Linda, the issues of alcohol and substance abuse. How has this deterred young people to actually participate? All the cycles of the electoral cycles, young people which then how does it make the now voter or
it's a challenge because they use those kind of youth every day. And my biggest question is on the 23rd of August, will be the same youth be awake? That's the biggest challenge, because they are always drunk, they are always under the influence of alcohol, and then you think the same people, did they go register? Are we assured did they register? Because the same people that are the ones that those kind of leaders we use when doing those kind of violence things and those kind of things that are not even good to the community. So I think as leaders, if you want to get into such spaces, you have to have a good behavior so that the leaders of tomorrow as the youth should participate, because if that's what is making the law of registration turn out low, just because all those votes are not, and all those locals and they are not registered, and we are busy counting them as registered voters.
All right. Now looking at the issues of political violence, political intimidation, I just want to know the actual feel in the communities. Tyson, how is it like? Because we are now running up to elections. What is the mood like? Are people ready for elections? Are we actually ready to choose our leaders on the 23rd of August?
People are always ready, if I may put it like that. But with the nature of the political environment, intimidation, elements of hatred which are being posed within our societies, that we get to a system where the neighbor rises against the neighbor just because they have different opinion regarding a certain political party. So we feel afraid because we know it's a norm from our past that there are political giants which throw around power by the use of that. They can abuse power and manipulate power and use force of power in different areas, in different manners, in order to intimidate so that they can force its subject to oblige with what they intend to do. So yes, there is fear. People are prepared to vote, but there is fear. You find that there are people who have given in that, as we know that, though we know that there are so many things, dynamics which happen within the political world and the political spectrum, but people are ready to vote, but there is still fear of intimidation. But we thank you also acknowledging the authorities, the Zimbabwe Police Services, which always continue to preach of peace and the exercise of peace and harmonized election. But we hope that it will be peaceful.
All right, you are very hopeful that this will be a peaceful election. Coming to you, Stanley.
Yes.
Are people ready for an election? And are they also ready to accept whatever that shall come out of that election?
Thank you, Shaki. Looking at the readiness of the citizens in terms of the electoral, the elections, I think the people are ready, especially our residents, because I've seen most of them, they are participating in day-to-day political activities, like going around, encouraging people to go and vote for whoever they want to vote for. And I can tell that people are ready, looking at the way people register to vote. Yeah, in my community, to be specific. People register to vote, and of course there have been issues to do with that. That's
the question.
Yeah, that's the question that has been there. But there are people who are actually ready, who are saying, no, it's time for us to change this whole thing. Because gone are those days where people who feared to go to vote. There was a particular leadership by then, but this time around there's another leadership. But they're saying that right now it's a bit easier because you can voice up, you can express yourself authentically. You can say whatever you want to say about the president. You can actually, even say a lot of things, even swear, But of course, the introduction of the
yes, I just wanted to ask about the amendment, the criminal codification amendment,
exactly.
Because I'm looking at where we are, because we're saying we are youth expression,
Yes.
and when there is freedom of expression, is there freedom after expression? Are you willing to say, like stand aside, but do you think you have assured freedom after expression?
No, looking at the current environment, personally, viewers, I think I'm not free to express myself the way. But of course, I'm free according to the Constitution of Zimbabwe. There may be an introduction of the bill, but the Constitution also gives me the right to express myself. So it's important that people know that voting is your right. Voting is a sacramental citizen right, because it is your voice. If you do not vote, then you do not live. Your life begins to end the day you do not vote. So yes, of course.
Thank you very much, Stanley. I love it that you say voting is my voice, and within the democratic spaces, that's the way, one of the ways that I express and I choose leadership. Looking at your opinion leaders from different backgrounds and different communities, now I want to transition to actually moving away from the young people, but to the younger women. How is it like for the younger women within our constituencies and communities? Are young women coming out to participate in the various activities running up to the election? Tyson.
Honestly, they say numbers do not lie. If you look again to the nomination analysis, which has gives digital evidence that this coming election 2023, the numbers which represented women dropped by 2% from 14 to 11%, is it? And then you see that from the Zimbabwe African Union, National Union Patriotic Front is 11 against 89, and the CCC is 9 against the 91. Then there is pick up to United Zimbabwe Alliance is the only political party which had done well with Imbogoto, by pushing Imbogoto, because in the National Assembly is standing at 29% against 71, which male candidates. And then even in the local, if you look down within the local candidates, is UZA sitting at 26% again, which is still leading. So that on its own, it's a message which is sending to Usisi Ohlezi Esoshangani, who is aspiring to run for local. They are discouraged just because they will look at the figures, and it's the tradition of Udota within the Zimbabwean nationality or the African as a whole. I would wish to have that young girl from Pumula Ep08, from Pumula Gomakone, that young girl from Nguboyenja Soshangani Mziligazi to come and represent, because he has the people's interest at heart. But we are not seeing it. I believe it's the time. We know the Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma. We know the Tulima Donsela. We have seen women in other spaces who are doing well. Why can't we? Because they are not being given what?
Now it takes me to another question that I'll give to Linda. Whose duty is it to get women aboard? What are the dynamics within political spaces? A woman from Soshangani, or how is it like?
No. Abantu mama laba khuluma ngabo, they are there. The problem is when I'm there, and there is that thing of men pulling her down. Because when ngifuna ukuba is somebody, angisho umuntu uhlathi, you cannot do it. Well, at least I want somebody who encourage me, give me the support, tell me what to do, what to achieve, so that I'll get to the top.
That's true.
So I think women in our spaces, they are there. The problem is we do not have the confidence, and we are not encouraged enough that we stand on our own. Because the most problem is women stand in men's shadow. So I want to stand behind Stanley. While at least I should stand by my own and be that woman, and be that lady who wants to be the MP, not wanting to be the councillor behind the MP, So I think the problem is women should have the encouragement to stand by their own and having the good support system.
All right, I hear you. You're saying that women need stronger support systems, and also looking at it, I've come to realize that as young women, one of the biggest hurdles is the unpaid care work. Uvele uyathi ungakayi ukuba mkhansela kufanele uqale uwatshele uStanley before ufanele umphekele. Looking at where we are coming from, our communities are highly patriarchal. But you didn't answer my question where I'm saying mama laba bakhona yini within political spaces, because I'll take that to Stanley. Lilabo yini mama Stanley asifuna ukufuqa phela mama bangikhaya, sifuna ukufuqa women that are already leaders in their own spaces. Bakhona yini mama laba?
Yes, Jackie, definitely women are there in the political parties, even in civic spaces, they are available. But there is still that thing that you say, the patriarchal thing. I think there is need for our community to invest on the family democracy meeting at family level. Systems should support the involvement of women in politics, in decision making from home. Because when we grow up, we tend to have a certain culture that we take from home, going to the community. So I think there should be a way for our families to teach the young person, especially from a kindergarten level, in terms of participating, especially women. Yeah, I think they are available. They actually participate. The other thing is that the men will always pull the women down, especially at political level, because of that toxic masculinity that is there in our community. So yeah, definitely they are available.
All right, now we're looking at, now that you've said that women are already there, I'm now looking at issues of violence, the issues of political motivated violence. I'm also looking at structural segregation, structural discrimination. In this case, I'll not a case Elizabeth Valerio, where she had actually paid for nomination fees, and she had to lobby and she had to take a case to High Court so that she can be put in that ballot paper. Do we need to really fight that much as women? Do we need really to push that hard when others are being given leadership or on a plate? Why does it have to be an extra for us women? But also, then going back on saying that discrimination and segregation of women is becoming more and more pronounced each day. How is it that then when looking at violence, do you think when actually systems to go either way against them?
I think what I can say is that the political atmosphere of our country is unfeminine. As what Brother Stanley had said, that men tend to use their masculinity. And we have not come home in our mentality or in our psyche as people, as men in the country, to get to the point of appreciating that a woman can lead. Brother Stanley said that it has to start at family level, because in order to build great communities, it starts within the family. And who's that family? Is the woman, is the mother. The mother is the one who spends most of the time with the kids. Yes. So the mother knows better. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. And we are seeing, as you made a referral point to the case of Madam Valerio, because there is so many things at play in this regard. There is the money, there is the masculinity, there is the status, there is the discrimination. There is a lot of things which plays, which is unfair for the women. And then it is so discouraging to women now in Zimbabwe in order to take part within the politics.
All right. I love it, because coming back to the family is raised by a woman, the mother. So are these mothers because are these women enablers of patriarchy now? Now, if a woman cooks and raises these children, how then do they become toxic when they grow? Or we need as women to reform and bring up better men?
Yeah, I think the problem is the men that we put to power. We used to put to power yesterday, because those men, I think that women, they're made to be in the kitchen. Because even if you elevate yourself in study, you do whatsoever, you want to put yourself on top, the men will think that you are just good as to be just a TV and a hot rock there. And so I think the thing is, people should accept each gender. It doesn't mean I can afford to pay the 20,000, but if I am a good candidate to change the country, I can be the candidate, because the struggle she had to get to that ballot paper is even more stressful than what the vision that she has. So I think as women, we should have such visions as that such lady has, because even in the local authority, that's what makes women take themselves and think that they cannot make it whilst they can, because if you've got a clear vision, I don't think you can shun yourself down.
That's
you know.
true. That's true.
All right.
That's true.
Then moving, because now that I see that women are there, my question now comes to all three of us here, all three of you rather, is, are women quotas working? Because now we've seen the extension of women quotas from 2 terms to this other term. And we're also seeing the introduction of PRLE, proportional rep, council, female members. Are those things working? Do women have full knowledge of these systems, or abakwazi ukuthi kuhamba njani? Stanley, bayakwazi ngephumulo ukuthi i-women's quota kuyini, i-PR kuyini, PR council kuyini? Because we're looking at female voices.
I think there is that knowledge gap within our communities when it comes to the electoral process, the electoral cycle. Many people don't even know about a PR. What is a PR? People just know the councillor, the MP, and the president. Some people don't even know about the senators, especially women. And of course, the issue of PR, it has come of a debate lately, with some people saying that I was just spoon-feeding women. We are just spoon-feeding people. People should work for their post. People should do that and this and that. But I think it's important that we invest also in the community knowledge systems, where we invest on voter education for the women, the men, even the youths, to know about those posts, the PR, and as well as the women quota. Because the men are saying, I know, we're just giving the women. The women should work, and sometimes women normally use sex for them to get into those posts. Like recently, there are issues that have been happening about women getting into PR, using sex and things like that, So there is need for that voter education.
No, thank you for that, because now also we are digging deeper into participation. We are now looking at sextortion. What Stanley mentioned, you have to be sextorted to get into that position. What is it like, Tyson? Because I hear now men are explaining their part in the cycle that elects women.
Men will always be men. I think men will always be men. I think there are leaders who are perverts.
Yes, definitely.
And it's not those ladies who come in to sell themselves to get to power.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. Just to add on what Brother Stanley was saying, yes, there is need to be an awareness on young women to be taught, to be conscientized, to be brought to the knowledge of that there is a shift, a paradigm shift which is taking place now, and it is a good move because it is getting women involved. And you'll be surprised to find out that most of the people who vote are women.
So that's actually interesting, because I'm actually conflicted, Tyson, Linda, and Stanley, saying that when women are actually the biggest constituents of voters, why can't they vote for a woman? And that will be food for thought.
Yeah, that's true.
Why is it that you, as a woman, you're not voting another woman? We just want to round up our interesting discussions, because we looked at community voices, community knowledge. How then do we stop violence? Because sextortion is one of the violences that women face within political spaces. But now my issue is, how then are we going to encourage that towards this election there will be peace? Because looking at how communities fail even to come back again because of violence, how then are we going to change the space as young people? How then are we going to encourage to shun violence? My question now to you is, what can be your words of peace building within communities, and to the one actually watching us now?
I would like to say, as youth, we should simele silandele izinto esizenzayo kuma communities ethu. We once had a peace march tina back in our ward. I think as we march and preach peace, we were marching people from different places, different political parties, ngoba at the end of the day, I cannot be fighting with Jackie while least mina ngizacela impuphu.
That's true.
Sasa.
That's true.
Ngoba at the end of the day we have one goal, but we want to vote, but asiwazi result. At the end of the day, I can be in a good space today, tomorrow kube nzima nzima. So we have to have that peace and harmony at the end of the day, where the community sibe ngabantu esizaphinda futhi uthi ngafelwa, we come to siduduzane futhi, you know, singalwi, but we be that harmonized community where we love each other, we help each other. Kuyabuya izinto in the community, you know, people they forget. Things come and go. Is it kulabo bhimu kulani? If you forget here just because of elections, siyaregister abantwana going forward, ungabalihlonga ndlebe uvalelwa phandle, you know, such things. So you know
the way you say it, ungabalihlonga ndlebe. So kuwe wena mlaleli ungabalihlonga ndlebe, learn to be a community player. Uyena lo zamkhetha nguye othandwa nguwe. To Stanley, my question is, as young voices within the community,
yes.
lithini ebantwini, ngoba mina I'm looking at it, elections come once in 5 years, but communities stay forever. Uthini ebantwini bephumula la kubalaleli?
To the viewers and especially young people, Tina, as leaders in our different political spheres and civil society organizations, we actually have a motto. We say, peace begins with you, peace begins with me, peace begins with all of us. It's easy to destroy, but it is difficult to build. So let's shun from a violent nature. Let us be good citizens, because voting is just a one-day thing. Just one day. So you are prepared to ruin someone's life for just one day, while you're going to be staying together for the rest of your life. So we're actually encouraging the civil society space, the young people, the political parties, the politicians themselves to actually invest on peace building, especially the introduction of peace ambassadors in our local communities. Every community should have a peace ambassador, and every person should be a peace ambassador.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, to you, Tyson. Mina umbuzo wami ukuthi like libabone eParliament besilwa yini bazibakhiphana nesho. Why can't you encourage the same, or liyawenza yini when you're back in the communities? Ngoba nxa ligijima ngolinda ulinda lo stand nxa sebeseParliament vele wabe nathi ti behleze hoteleni
Mshaya cappuccino.
Ibe chai cappuccino.
Cafe latte. Okay, I would like just to my last words to say that violence has never solved anything, has never been the answer in anything. And as a young people of today, as we plan for a better future in our tomorrow, you should think twice about whether you want to remain where you are with your violence, way of thinking, or whether you want to build a better Zimbabwe that would be better for our kids in our tomorrow. So I would say to the youth that let us desist, let us refuse to be used and to be manipulated by people who are resourceful in order to fulfill their intentions. Let us not engage in any form of violence. Let us be the peaceful Zimbabweans, that which we preach. We always say we are smart people think smart people do smart. We are not illiterate, we are not retarded.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much to the young people that I was having conversation with. One thing that really came out strongly is that as young people, go out in your numbers and vote. As young people, shun away from the people that would want to use you. And to the young women out there that are watching this podcast and are going to be listening to it, no one is going to give you anything on a silver platter.
That's true.
Go out there and fight for your space.
Exactly.
And do not fight it as a woman, but fight it as someone that actually wants the community to be better. Because when we say women, we look like crybabies, but go and fight for your space. And also looking at where we're coming from as women's movement, I just want to say I love the courage that was shown by Elizabeth Valerio. She did fight for her space, and come 23rd, we are going to see her on the ballot paper with the 11 male counterparts. Then also coming back to the community will not expire. Remain in the community and be stronger in the community. That's the only way to develop and become stronger people. So to everyone watching this, let's go out, let's turn out big, let's shun Jengu, and let's be people that continuously learn. Because one thing that I've also seen within our young people is that we do not want to learn anymore. Learning is a continuous process. Go out there, learn, and try very much to research and inform other young people like you, so that there won't be any information gaps like what Stanley said, because information will not come to you. You have to seek for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.